What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the 10 scariest movies streaming on Shudder right now. If you don't know what Shudder is, it's a streaming platform specifically for horror movies, so that kind of makes it easy for this video. But let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into it. Let's start with number 1, The Jester. I actually really enjoyed this movie. It's more of a low budget horror movie that's not very known, probably because it came out at the same time as Terrifier, and it has a lot of similarities to Art the Clown. I mean, it's like a clown figure that doesn't talk. He's like a mime. He's very articulate with his body and mannerisms. So there's a lot of similarities, and obviously he's not as iconic and popular as Art the Clown is right now. But I enjoyed it. It's not as gory as the Terrifier movies, so if you're not into torture porn and all that stuff, this is a safer route to go down. It's just your classic jump scares, nothing too fancy or too gory, maybe even a good introduction to horror as well. Moving on to number 2, which is going to be my personal favorite movie on this platform, which is VHS 94. This movie's wild. Holy shit, from start to finish you're gonna be entertained, you're gonna be scared. It is just a wild roller coaster of a ride. It's found footage, it's an anthology, so there's multiple horror stories, there's awesome monsters, creepy concepts. If you're a horror fan and you haven't seen this movie, what are you doing? I mean, this is literally the epitome of what a horror fan wants. Everything is in this movie. Like I said, monsters, gory, violence, cult stuff. And if you haven't heard of the VHS movies, this is an entire franchise of horror movies. It's not just this movie. There's a ton of them and they're all good. There's multiple ones on this list, but VHS 94 to me is one of the better ones. It's not my favorite one. I still think the first one is a classic. It's the original, but goddamn it, VHS 94 is right up there because it is spectacular. Number 3 is going to be my next favorite horror movie on this platform, which is House LLC Origins: The Carmichael Manor. This is just as good, if not better, than VHS 94. This is one of my favorite horror movies that has come out in this past decade. It's that good. And if you don't know, Hell House is also a franchise of movies, so this is the actual 4th installment in the franchise, not the first one, but in my opinion it is the best installment in the franchise. Oh my goodness, it's about these investigators that go up to a mansion in the middle of nowhere to investigate these murders that occurred there, and paranormal stuff starts to happen. Holy shit, the clowns are scary, the acting is amazing, the location, the setting. It is one of the very few horror movies that can scare you in broad daylight. Some of the scariest scenes in this movie are in broad daylight, which is insane. This is a must-watch horror movie on this platform, and the reason why I think it's one of the better horror movies that's come out in the last couple of years is because it's not bombarded with jump scares, and the few jump scares that they do use, they build them up so freaking well. So at least it feels like you get a payoff for all the setup in the movie. Number 4 is going to be All Hallows Eve. This is the famous debut of Art the Clown in a full feature-length film, and it's an awesome, fun anthology horror movie. Like I said, there's multiple horror stories in there. Art the Clown is in every single one of them. It's also a very low-budget horror movie, and you can feel it, but I love it. I think it works to its benefit. It just makes everything feel more creepy. The shorts are fantastic in the movie. Art the Clown is extremely scary in the movie, especially towards the end. I actually really enjoy the ending of this movie. I think it's one of the best scares of the film. But if you want a fun movie to watch, especially on Halloween, this has such Halloween vibes. Like, this is the perfect movie to watch in October or doing a Halloween marathon, because you deal with aliens, demons, clowns, supernatural entities. It really encapsulates a lot. So if you've seen the Terrifier movies but you don't know where Art originally came from, check out All Hallows Eve. Number 5 is going to be A Rink. A lot of people actually hate this movie. I personally really liked it, and I understand why people don't enjoy it. It's not for everyone. Nothing happens in the movie. It's literally very boring. It's just shots of a wall, and then you see like feet, and you maybe hear voices in the background, but it's very hypnotic. It puts you in a trance, and for a guy like me who likes to, you know, smoke the devil's lettuce, maybe eat a couple edibles here and there, that's the only way to appreciate this movie. You gotta be alone. It's not a movie to watch with someone else, by yourself in a dark room, maybe a little bit high, for you to truly appreciate and enjoy the experience of this movie, because that's what it is. It's an experience. There's no story, there's no deeper level character development. It's just a weird trance that you're in. But like I said, I enjoyed it. I think it's worth a watch, especially on some edibles. Number 6 is going to be House LLC. This is the original movie in the franchise, and it is a awesome found footage horror movie. If you're into found footage horror movies and you want a unique spin on the genre, this movie's for you. It has a really cool concept and a really cool story. Everything is executed very well. There's some great scary scenes in this movie that I've talked at length about in other videos on this channel. But like I said, it's a good found footage horror movie. The clowns are scary. scary, the concept is cool, and it's just an overall solid horror movie. Which brings me to number 7, House LLC 2, The Abaddon Hotel. This is a great follow-up to the first movie, because this franchise has 4 movies, and I'm not a fan of all 4. The 4th one's my favorite. Obviously, the first one's really good, and the second one I'm talking about right now. But the 3rd one, Lake of Fire, that's when, you know, things start to go the other way. Not a fan of that movie, but the 2nd movie has some good scares. It's a good experience, which is hard to do. You know, horror sequels are some of the hardest things to do. I think House LLC 2, The Abaddon Hotel, did a good job. Number 8 is gonna be Halloween, the classic John Carpenter film. Not gonna spend a lot of time here. Everybody knows Michael Myers. Everybody knows Halloween. It is classic. It is iconic. If you haven't seen it, stop what you're doing and watch it, goddammit. That first Halloween movie is something special. One of the best intros to any horror movie of all time. Spectacular intro with young Michael Myers. And what I love about this movie, because I saw it on the big screen when they did a rerun in Gainesville, there's so many great moments of tension in this movie. Like, just one great example is the car scene where the girls are walking home from school and they call out some name to the car, and then the car comes to an abrupt stop and everyone just stays there frozen for a minute and has no idea what the hell is gonna happen, and then the car continues to go. Bro, that scene was so tense. I was in the edge of my seat just like, what the fuck is gonna happen? Classic horror movie, one of Jamie Lee Curtis's first horror movies. That's what she's known for, so you definitely gotta watch it. And if you have already seen it, you're probably gonna watch it again. Number 9 is gonna be VHS 85. This is also another installment in the VHS franchise. Not as good as VHS 94, but definitely a solid entry. It has some cool concepts. The boat horror short specifically is amazing and really gets the movie going. The only problem I have is that I feel like they really dropped the ball with the alien one towards the end, and a couple of things here and there that I'm not a huge fan of, but overall it's still a fun watch, and it's on Shudder, so you should definitely take a look at it. And number 10 is gonna be The Shining, one of the greatest horror movies ever made. Jack Nicholson is amazing in this movie. I can't believe he wasn't nominated for Best Actor, because his performance in The Shining is god tier. It really makes me mad that the Academy doesn't recognize horror performances, because goddammit, Jack Nicholson was one of the best actors that year, because he was fantastic in this role. Extremely scary. One of the best stories written by one of the greatest horror writers of our time, Stephen King. And it's just really awesome because it gives you this sense of isolation, this hotel in the middle of nowhere, and the snow season comes, so it blocks off the roads, and you're in this big ass building by yourself. I mean, who wouldn't go crazy? I live in Colorado, so I know what snowstorms look like, how they can block off roads. I've been to the Stanley Hotel where Stephen King got the idea for this movie, so it has a special place in my heart, and it's, like I said, one of the greatest horror movies ever. So if you haven't seen it, you gotta pay your respect to one of the greats, one of the goats. But it's also streaming on Shudder, so those are my top 10 best horror movies that are streaming on there right now. Let me know down in the comments other horror movies that I didn't mention on the list that are streaming on Shudder. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already for more videos like this. Oh, and before I forget, as always, if you want to support me, my Patreon link is in the description below. You get extra reviews, you can make rankings with me, you can DM me directly, ask for video topics, all that fun stuff. Tiers as low as $3. Go check it out. It really helps me out and I appreciate it. And I'll catch you later.